really like to move over to our second guest, who will for sure have a space-related topic anyway. And feel free to jump in, Nidhi, with any comments that you may have. But Lukasz, I would really like to open the floor to you. For those who don't know Lukasz is a space evangelist. At least that's what it says on his Twitter profile. So I hope you still are. But many of us know Lukasz as the founder and big initiator of the European Rover Challenge that took place just a few weeks ago in Poland for the 7th time, and has grown into one of the biggest Mars rover challenges in the world that takes place every year. So Lukasz, without further ado, I'd like to hand it over to you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, and hello to all of you. Yes, I am the space evangelist because I'm finding myself many times when I'm going to someone speaking about totally different topic, and then I suddenly switch to space, and you know all about that. Look, Mr. or Mrs., can we talk about space? No, I'm not being thrown out through the door. I always gather attention because we always find some space-related topic with people that are thinking that space is not for them. I always find a connection. So I am the guy who always, find a connection and always bring the truth that the space transformation is coming. And actually, I wanted to show you two things today. One thing is bigger one, of course. It's the campaign, the project we made since 2014. So it's a European Rover Challenge. And this is a challenge, really a communication challenge. And the second one is a smaller campaign we run for the 5 years in a row. It's B2b or B2g campaign for the space company, but I want to show you some kind of mechanism that is behind this campaign. We do it successfully. So shortly, myself, I'm running 2 entities. The first one is Planet Partners. This is my first child. This is Planet Partners is a PR agency, PR communication agency, also working in global network. And the second one is the European Space Foundation, the NGO. Few of us in Poland founded, and some other people right now outside Poland, of course, to conduct our mission to run many interesting projects regarding space, not only upstream, but also downstream. So let me first check if I can share the screen. Okay. Can you see this? Right? Can I? Okay. So let me start with the short movie that will show you what was actually happening during this year's European Rover Challenge. If there will be no sound, just wave me. So no sound, right?
No, there's no sound, Lukasz. Sorry.
No sound. Okay, that's the interesting thing, how to make sound with the. I don't know how to do it. Okay, never mind. I will try to say you. Generally, European Rover Challenge is, as you can see, this is the very difficult project because this is project containing 3 parts. The first part is originally the Martian rover competition, and it's for university teams from worldwide, because we have people coming from both Americas, Europe, Africa, Asia, Australia. We don't have anyone from Antarctica, and this is very the thing we have to work on, actually, because there are people there, of course. And the next thing is that we have, you can see the tents, you can see the exhibition area, and there are a lot of exhibitors coming also from not only from Poland but also from outside Poland. And the third part is a kind of conference. I say kind of conference because it's being changed year by year because of the team, the themes, the sponsors. So it's always very hard to catch the real model of what will be done next year, actually. And the biggest challenge was last year, where all this kind of competition you can see, all the events were closed, right? And then everyone was canceling their event, not us. We decided to go forward and we decided to organize this event totally remotely, but we were sitting on site But we are not talking about organizing the event, but generally how to communicate this kind of stuff. So generally, this event is very difficult to communicate because it has 4 different target groups. So the first target group, it's of course these young engineers coming. Yes, we had Remco also on site. Thank you, Remco, for that. The first target group is this pack of young engineers coming from all over the world. And they, of course, they are interested mostly in the competition itself, in all the communication that is regarding, the logistics, the rules that are being, sent to them. But generally, they are very, no, don't want this anymore. So actually, they are not interested in any other, communication we send outside. They only want to know what will be happening on site, who is coming actually, what we can give them. So whole communication for them is switched to the person that is responsible for internal communication. And this is run totally according to every, rules of internal communications, So we have newsletters, we have special, media kits that are sent to them because after, I think, 5th edition, we discovered that they are also trying to communicate themselves when they win or not. And we found that they are very important ambassadors of our project. So starting 6th or 7th edition, we change them into our ambassadors and we provide them every year with the special package, how to and how not to communicate the project we are doing. So they have do's and don'ts. So we also ask them not to do some things actually, because we discovered when after a few editions by, monitoring media, monitoring, of course, what we could translate, because we found articles in so many languages about this, so we couldn't translate everything. But they, they translated the meaning of ERC only by themselves. They didn't see the challenge, they didn't see the conference, they didn't see the rest of the part. So they were only communicating the part they were participating in, actually. And it was a big problem for us because we started to communicate this as a big project. And we found out that in many countries, ERC is known as a very, only the robotics competition. That's it. You are building something like that and you find it only here. Why? Because these robotics teams, where they are coming on site, they don't have any time to participate in any of this because they are working so hard on the rovers, they are participating in the challenge, they are sleeping in the boxes actually to mount, to fix the rover all the night, this stuff. Yes, I saw a few many times. That's why we are bringing them, warm place to like pit stops, we call them. So actually this year we contacted not only the teams, but we contacted also the university PR divisions when they were coming from. And we contacted that if they will be coming with success or not, here is the package, here is everything what happened. Here are the names, here are all the, free sentences to be used to describe our project, not more actually, because people don't even remember more than 3 things. If you know it from the communication point of view, you can say 3, 5 things, 6 things. People will always remember 3 things about anything that you mentioned. So we tried to always move around this 3 formula that to form the communication, to form some kind of positioning sentences of our event into 3 parts so that they can easily use it. And it works because right now we can see that they are using exactly what we wanted to do, exactly the same hashtags, exactly the same sentences regarding. So actually the level of communication, it was brought to the balance, right? So we brought balance to the force actually. And right now there is, we are waiting still for the chosen one, of course. So this is the first thing. The second target group is a general public. And here we have 2. Because one of them is in Polish and people are, of course, no one from South Africa will go all around the world to join. But generally, mostly of the visitors are coming from Poland and the nearby, countries. But we have to provide also the whole communication in Polish, and it's totally different than it's going outside, because outside the communication that we brought to space-related, robotics-related, science-related media is regarding of why we are doing this. It's not robotic competition. It's a place to foster the new talents. It's a pool to hunt new talents and new recruitment force. It's a place for, validating your technology, and it's totally different communication than we are actually going inside Poland, because people, visiting the place are not so sophisticated in the space industry to understand all of that we are doing. So we are actually putting more scientific, more STEM-related communication over there. And of course, last but not least, there is also a group of space professionals. And here I'm thinking about the judges, the sponsors, the speakers, the special guests. And here we are also going with why, but we are also showing a lot of, use cases and a lot of case studies we can make. And this is very important in this kind of project. If you do something like that, then check what is happening after your project. Maybe some people talk to each other. Maybe there was some, God mentioning, maybe they connected each other to some kind of project. Thanks to your project, you have to hunt this. And then you are using this as a use case of why you are doing this and why this kind of project was successful, right? So this is very important, not to focus only, if you are communicating an event, not to focus on the event itself, but also what is happening thanks to the event between speakers and exhibitors, because we found out that there is a lot of business coming, a lot of business is going between them. The teams also are participating in some kind of another projects with our guests or something like that. So that's why this year we started to create the ERC inspiration book, and we are right now finishing this. We are gathering information from them. So we will have another communication tool to be used internally and externally for this project. At the beginning of each ERC, we are always, making feedback, collecting feedback, what was, understandable or not. Then we are going to update the strategy. It's always being done in December, January, because event is in September. So December, January, there is always an update. Then we are checking if there are new communication personas coming, because you mentioned, Nidhi, that of course there is, to know your target groups. What we do here, we are creating actually at each of the target group, we are creating communication persona. We are impersonating, we are making, sorry for my English today, but I'm a little bit, after I'm suffering about long COVID, so sorry for that. So actually, we are trying to make our target group, that is, some target group, to imagine who is actually the target group, who is that person exactly, right? Exactly. So we can call him Bob, Jim, Alex, whatever. And then we are trying to fix where, if we are hitting the group with the proper targets, proper media, proper channels or not. We are analyzing everything. We are also, of course, analyzing the competition, because we have other events. And then we are trying to understand what kind of other channels we can use. So actually, the change made this year was to involve Remco. Why? Because we found out that if you are communicating, making a space outreach, it's very good to find so-called, sorry for calling you that, Remco, so-called hubs, right? And we focused on some kind of hubs that we can invite, that can be our connection to other, communities that we can bring. So actually, we identified 10 of these kind of hubs. We involve 5 of them. 5. The Remco was inside. There was both outside Poland and inside Poland, and it worked very good. So we want to move forward with finding hubs, because the most important thing that you are not alone. Space is very interesting thing. I just watched the last Space Cafe web talk, and you had with Agnieszka Lukaszczyk. So that was interesting thing, that you cannot do it on your own, actually, right? And what is very interesting in space outreach is that you can do everything, even sometimes for free, because there is a lot of people that wants to help you communicating space, really. I just, created a new movie for the sponsors, and I asked my friend, who is a professional lecturer in Poland, to give us a voice for this. And I asked him, okay, how much? 0. What? It's impossible. 0, because you made your brand as a love brand already. So I want to be a part of it. And this is amazing. And we want to use his energy more internally. So actually, what also will help us, and this is very interesting, I would like to show you also what I'm using in every actually campaign, not only, probably you know this. If you don't take a look at this, it's online. Go to AMEC, it's amec.org.com, and this is the organization of measurement and they have every year they have a meeting about measuring communication. And a few years ago, they created a very interesting framework, actually. You can use it here, you can use it in Excel, it doesn't matter. So what does matter is that according to this, you are starting your strategy and you are doing all the time. And you are making this kind of, validation, not after the campaign, but also in the middle of campaign, actually, right? So here are objectives, the inputs, so everything you want to do it, the activities you plan. Then you are measuring outputs, what you get. And outputs, you have, the numbers of applications, so everything that is out. But then you are measuring outtake and outcomes. So it's great that you have, for example, the publication in spay.com. But what happened because of that? Nothing. So it doesn't work. Why? Then you have to analyze this. And after that, you have to find out how it changed, how it make impact on your organization, on your campaign, on your organization, on your project, etc. And this is the wheel you have to go back. Don't worry if you have to change anything. I know that from the PR person and from the perspective of PR agency, it's very hard to go back to the client and say, you know what, we have to change something because we planned this, didn't work, and we have to change it. Sometimes we heard from the people, okay, you should, make it better from the beginning. No. It doesn't work like that. The communication is very fluid, right? So I advise you to use this kind of framework. I advise you to use this kind of model or AMEC model. I use it for the last, 6-7 years, and it's very good because it's helping our team, to settle things up and how to work and how to check where we are actually. The last thing I want to show you is the B2b campaign. So actually, this is something more because we also in Poland work for Center Group. And this is very interesting because it's a very specific place. This is the Spanish company, Spanish group that has Polish, also the Polish companies in Poland. And actually the whole campaign here for the last 5 years was B2G. Actually, it was B2G. So what the next tool we used here to plan our communication and to really use the good, topics and good tools was making the stakeholders map. So it's even more than creating personas, because communication persona is someone you imagine, but creating a stakeholder map, it's actually, you are mapping exact people you want to target, exact people. So for example, if you want to reach your campaign somehow with Isa and you want to, reach Mr. Achbacher, then you have to map him, and then you have to somehow check what he's reading, how to reach that person, who is next to him that is bringing him all the news actually. So here we mapped everyone involved in the space sector in Poland that is a decision maker, or could be a person that is working closely with the decision makers. Then we, for example, went for conferences, or we asked people that are visiting them what kind of newspapers are lying on the tables. We know everything. Yeah, it's intelligence. It's actually legal intelligence we are doing. But thanks to this we are making, every time we are making very, direct, like a sniper, very direct communication points. And we, for example, one of the things that we discovered is that from the beginning, the Center was regarded as a company that is, coming from abroad, that will be probably sucking people's mind and taking money abroad. You know this, right? Story. When the foreign company is coming to your country, what we did here, we created the social contribution report, and it's being published every year because it's not obligatory. This company is not a stakeholders company. It doesn't have obligation to to go with social responsibility, corporate social responsibility report, CSR. So we called it social contribution report. And every year we are summarizing what this company is doing for the society of professionals, how many trainings it does, what kind of university meetings it does, etc., etc. And we are comparing each year to another. So actually we are showing what was going good or wrong in the company and why. Why? Because this report, we know it's being read by the stakeholders of our communication. We send them directly. And what we made here, it was very interesting because it was also sent digitally generally to Polish companies, space companies. And these companies, in return, they said that now they know they won't create this kind of reports because it's already on the market. Creating something like this will be, copying another idea of the brand. So actually, it's a chessmate move, right? It's the end of the game because only this company is making all the time. And this is
Lukasz,
also the, yeah.
Lukasz, I hate to interrupt you, but we're running a little bit out of time.
Yeah,
Can you share this with us? Is this publicly available?
Yes.
This is super interesting.
Yeah.
If you could pop the link in the chat.
Well, I will have to give you the English one, okay?
Yeah, that would be.
I have only the picture of the Polish one.
Yeah, that would be interesting information. We are running a little bit out of time. You touched upon lots of different topics, but before we go into Q&A, I would really like to give Charlie the opportunity to tell his story. And when we have time at the end, we'll come back to you. But there's lots of different interesting topics about personas, and I hope we can read a little bit in the chat what the impact of that is for space communications.